Naging bahagi din ng mataas na kapulungan ng Kongreso, ang Senado, ang yumaong dating Pangulong Noynoy Aquino o Benigno Simeon Aquino III. 3 taon na naging senador si Pinoy mula 2007 hanggang 2010 bago siya nahalal bilang ika-15 Pangulo ng bansa. Mahigit 1 buwan ng kanyang pagpanaw, binigyang pagkilala ng mga senador ang naiambag ni Pinoy sa bansa. Pinag-isa ang 5 resolusyon sa Senate Resolution No. 760 na nagpapahayag ng pagdadalamhati at pakikiramay ang Senado sa pagpanaw ni Pinoy sa edad na 61. Ayon kay Senate President Vicente Soto III, pinilit ni Pinoy na hindi pasukin ang mundo ng politika kaya't nagtrabaho siya sa iba't ibang pribadong kumpanya ngunit sadyang hindi niya mahindian na pagsilbihan ang kanyang mga kababayan sa ikalawang distrito ng Tarlac mula 1998 hanggang 2007.
He was elected as senator in the same year, placing 6th among the 32 candidates for senator. In his term as a senator, albeit short, then Senator Noynoy made sure that his anti-corruption advocacy will remain to be his priority and held on to it and had been his battle cry when he was campaigning for the presidency. But it did not remain to be just his slogan. When former Senator Noynoy Aquino won as president, his administration centered and anchored all its programs on his fight against corruption, making it his brand of leadership.
Paalala ni Soto, tumatak na sa mga Pilipino ang mga sinabi ni Pinoy, kayo ang boss ko, kung walang korap, walang mahirap, at ang walang wangwang, walang counterflow.
Who would not remember his catchphrases such as, kayo ang boss ko, kaya't hindi maaaring hindi kayo or hindi ako makikinig sa utos nyo, sabi niya. Or the famous walang wangwang, walang counterflow. His no wangwang policy says it all. Filipinos are accustomed to the abuse and inequitable application of the law favoring the rich and leaving the poor helpless. But being all too familiar with such doesn't make it right and acceptable. Just like corruption, Filipinos are so used to this problem that some already accepted it as part of the landscape. President Noynoy made sure to get the message across. No one is above the law.
Si Senator Joel Villanueva, ang pangunahing author ng resolusyon, sinabi na may tuturing pambayani ng bansa si Pinoy.
We pause for a while to remember him. The great man, the transformational leader, and the nation's hero. Pinoy, the proud son of Tarlac and democracy icons Cory and Ninoy, devoted all his life to his one and only true love, the Filipino people.
Sinabi pa ni Villanueva, ang pagkamatay ni Pinoy ay nagsilbing salamin ng maraming Filipino ngayon nakakaranas ng pandemya ang buong mundo, kasama na ang Pilipinas.
More importantly, the death of the former president has allowed us to take a look at our society and ourselves as individuals in the face of the pandemic. Sa isang bansang batbat ng pagsubok at tigib ng pangamba dahil sa pandemya, ang pagpanaw ng dating leader ay tila isa pang mabigat na hagupit sa ating mga puso. Many hearts were broken, Mr. President, especially of his family, friends, and former colleagues. I was shattered in a million pieces, Mr. President.
Isa sa hinangaan niya kay Pinoy ayon kay Villanueva ay ang pagkabilib nito sa kakayahan ng mga kabataan sa modernong panahon. Bukod pa sa napasigla nito ang ekonomiya ng bansa.
Sa isang event sa TESDA, naalala ko po, Ginoong Pangulo, matapos ang aking talumpati, bumulong po siya sa akin at sinabing hindi niya gusto ang isang bahagi ng sinabi ko sa mga TechVoc graduates. Yung sungkitin nyo ang inyong mga pangarap. Sabi po niya, Ginoong Pangulo, pinaghihirapan daw ang pangarap, hindi sinusungkit lamang. I knew at that time that he was talking from experience. He made the Philippines, once touted as the sick man of Asia, into one of Asia's fastest growing countries. This is no coincidence or a stick of luck, but a result of sheer hard work pushing the nation to go to a path that we would never otherwise go.
Ang kapartido ni Pinoy na si Minority Leader Frank Drilon, sinabi na hindi maitatanggi na tumatak sa kasaysayan ng bansa ang mga nagawa ng yumaong Pangulo.
Pinoy left us a legacy of a robust economy, a legacy of political stability, and most important, a legacy of good governance. Pinoy's economic reforms coupled with fiscal discipline and anti-corruption initiatives enabled our country to rise as Asia's tiger economy from being the sick man of Asia.
Nagbigay din ng kanya-kanyang mensahe ang iba pa naghain ng resolusyon para parangalan si Pinoy.
While his father famously said, the Filipino is worth dying for, and his mother, the Filipino is worth living for, Pinoy served us all exceedingly well by living the mantra, the Filipino is worth fighting for. One of President Aquino's most significant fights for the Filipino is the fight for Philippine sovereignty over the West Philippine Sea against our giant neighbor, and we won. Like the country's first Olympic gold medal from Hidilyn Diaz, the historic victory lifts the spirit and inspires us to continue to fight for one another and to fight for our country. Another important battle is the one against poverty. Kung walang korap, walang mahirap. By the end of Pinoy's term, 7 million Filipinos were able to cross the threshold from poor to non-poor. This is in large part thanks to his administration's continued and ramped up coverage of the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. From only 786,000 poor households when he took office in June 2010 to a whopping 4.4 million households and displaced families when his term ended in 2016.
President Pinoy's legacy looms large before us, a seemingly ordinary man who did extraordinary things for the country. This is a legacy we should all strive to uphold. But as Hidilyn's win should open the pathway for more Filipino Olympic medalists, Pinoy's legacy should inspire leaders who will do right by our country.
Maraming trabaho. Doon nag-umpisa na ang ating mga kababayan nakakapagbiyahe kahit na sa ating bansa man lang. Nagkaroon ng mas mataas na sahod. Mas mura ang bilihin. Nagkaroon ng pera para sa direct cash assistance o 4Ps sa 4 na milyong Pilipino nung panahon niya. Yun ang mga ibig sabihin ng maganda ang ekonomiya. Hindi gaganda ang ekonomiya porket na matalino ka lang na leader. Hindi gaganda ang ekonomiya porket na masipag ka lang na leader. Gaganda ang ekonomiya kung tapat kang leader sapagkat babantayan mo hanggat maaari na walang anomalya o korupsyon. Hindi ko sinasabing walang anomalya o korupsyon nung panahon na yon, subalit ang ehemplo na tinitignan ay laban talaga sa korupsyon.
If I had to sum up the legacy, Mr. President, there was good economics and that underpinned all of these wonderful policies that we were able to do. And I agree with what our colleagues said that the economy was alive and thriving and booming. Domestic tourism really grew by leaps and bounds, led by our late good friend, also Secretary Mon Jimenez. And it was a wonderful time because young people really were very idealistic and wanted to serve in government, inspired by the example of President Noy, Mr. President.
Escosio, Radyo INQUIRER Online. Bayan nagtatanong, mamaya nag-usisa.